Wreck-It Ralph was a 2012 American animated comedy movie that was produced by the Walt Disney Studios, and it was all about a gaming character called Ralph who was an arcade game villain who always dreamt of becoming a hero. This film featured very many characters of other animation studios such as Sonic the Hedgehog and even all the Disney princesses who appeared since the 1940s. And today we are going to look at some of these characters who featured in the first film. We shall also look at the voice actors who voiced these characters, and we shall see who they are and how old they've gotten after all these years.
Cannot ask you to risk your life cleaning up his mess. No flex on this one, ma'am.
And we shall begin with a character called Zangief who belonged to the Street Fighter game. He was a man from Russia who used wrestling techniques in combat, and he showed up as part of the Badanon villain support group where he introduced himself and pledged with the others. He looked like a street fighter but was a surprisingly philosophical and wise fella who offered deep life advice and guided Ralph through his own existential crisis about being the bad guy. He was also deeply empathetic toward his fellow gaming antagonists, and he always reminded them of how vital their roles are to the video game ecosystem. Sour Bill, on the other hand, was a supporting antagonist who was a gloomy sourball that served as King Candy's assistant during his reign over Sugar Rush. He spoke in a slow and bored tone, and he never showed any excitement about anything. He diligently carried out dark deeds for King Candy, such as abducting other characters and erasing memories because he felt obligated to serve the ruler of the game. He was just a character who was known to perpetually have a long face, and he took no joy in his administrative duties, and he preferred simply to be left alone. These two fellas were voiced by Rich Moore, who is an American film director and animator. He was the one who directed this film and also the second film of 2018, and other films he directed include Zootopia and a few episodes of The Simpsons.
Why do you have to be so bad, Sandy? Why can't you be more like good guy?
All hail our rightful ruler, King Candy.
Ralph was one of the main characters of the film, and he was also an antagonist of the Fix-It Felix game, but he hated his role as a villain and aspired to be a hero of his own game. Despite being the bad guy, he was a sweet and kind-hearted man who cared deeply about the well-being of others, and he was even willing to make massive personal sacrifices to protect the people he loved. And due to his villainous role in the movie, he was ostracized by his game's community and forced to live in a garbage dump for decades. And this made him to have a deep sense of loneliness and a desperate desire for respect and validation. He was also a short-tempered guy who had an explosive temper, and he would mostly throw mini tantrums and smash objects to express his frustrations. He was voiced by John Christopher Reilly, who is an American actor and voice actor.
Turbo? No, I'm not going turbo. Come on, guys. Is it Turbo don't want a friend?
Vanellope von Schweetz was the main female protagonist who was the original princess of the Sugar Rush game, and was a 9-year-old girl that was a very good racer. Due to years of being isolated and bullied, she developed a heavy, sarcastic, and teasing demeanor to protect herself from others. She refused to let her status as an outcast and even her glitchy nature to stop her from achieving her dream of racing, and she was also quick to forgiving others like her fellow racers who were always picking on her before and after races. She became the best friend of Ralph in between the film, and they both shared adventures together like saving their games and even defeating King Candy. Her voice was from Sarah Silverman, who is an American comedian and actress. She has also appeared in other movies like School of Rock in 2003 and Battle of the Sexes in 2017.
I made it for you. Just in case we don't win. Not that I think there's even.
The next character was Sergeant Tamora Calhoun, who was the commanding officer of Hero's Duty and the love interest of Felix. She ruled her troops with an iron fist and demanded perfection from every single officer who was under her rank. She used sarcasm like items and one-liners to keep both her troops and allies in line, but she was also a compassionate woman who had a massive heart, and she deeply valued genuine innocence and kindness, which eventually led her to fall in love and marry Felix. And before the film started, we saw how her husband passed away during their wedding day, and this was what made her become a tough warrior and a fearless fighter. She was voiced by Jane Lynch, who is an American actress and comedian. We saw her in 2.5 Men, where she played the role of Charlie's therapist. and she also played the role of Sue Sylvester in Glee from 2009 to 2015.
Rush. Cybugs will chew up that game faster than a chicken hawk in a...
Fix-It Felix was the hero who built and fixed things in the game while Ralph broke and smashed everything, and he was also the one who married Sergeant Calhoun at the end of the film. He was a good-natured man to the core, and he used his fixing abilities to help his fellow characters in the game to fix stuff. He was a humble socialite who loved throwing and attending parties, and he always avoided conflict and acted as a bridge between the residents of the game. And despite being a peacekeeper, he was willing to step out of his comfort zone and risk his own life to protect his game and friends. His voice was from Jack McBrayer, who is an American actor and comedian. He has also appeared in other animated shows like Phineas and Ferb and Big Mouth.
Last night, going on about cake and medals, but I never. He loved the.
The main antagonist was a man called King Candy. He was the jovial ruler of Sugar Rush, and he lived in a castle that was coated in sugar. He was an egomaniacal ruler whose entire existence was driven by vanity, and he was also consumed with envy when his original game lost popularity, and this made him to jump into other games to steal their spotlight and make himself the main center of attention. He presented himself as a bubbly and hospitable king of Candy Kingdom, but he was a highly calculated and cruel fella beneath his sugary exterior. His main aim was to delete Vanellope from the game and rewrite the game's code in order to maintain his illegitimate power. He was a villain who was voiced by Alan Tudyk, who is an American actor that also played as Mr. Nobody on Doom Patrol of 2019, and he voiced both the Joker and Clayface in Harley Quinn from 2022 to 2025.
Decapify this monster so we can see what we're up against here.
Taffeta Mutton Fudge was another supporting antagonist and the main archenemy of Vanellope. She was a prominent racer from Sugar Rush who drove a pink candy cart called the Pink Lightning. She was a cocky and arrogant lady who constantly flaunted her driving skills and acted condescendingly towards her competitors. She also possessed a charming front that easily earned her the following of the other racers, and she viewed Vanellope as a threat to the game's existence due to her glitch. Her personality later changed after Vanellope's rightful status was restored, and she started showing emotional maturity by immediately apologizing for her past cruelty and reverting to a more friendly persona. Her beautiful voice was produced by Mindy Kaling, who is an American actress and comedian. We first saw her in The Office as Kelly Kapoor, and she has also voiced characters in films like Despicable Me of 2010, as well as Mr. Peabody and Sherman of 2014.
Oh, Vanellope. It's so... you. But you...
The Surge Protector was a small-role character who acted as the overseer of Game Central Station and the arcade's denizens. He was known to mostly target game villains, and this was seen when he constantly halted Ralph for random security checks every time he tried to enter or exit the game. He took his Border Patrol job very seriously, and he always enforced the rules for everyone to follow. And even though he was a security officer who was tasked with stopping bad guys, he was weak and always got pushed around by other characters who were bigger than him. He was voiced by Phil Johnston, who is an American filmmaker and voice actor. He was one of the main writers of this movie, and he also wrote the scripts of Zootopia and Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Sir, random security check. I'm just a surge protector doing my job, sir. Name?
Mr. Stan Litwick was the kind-hearted owner of the retro arcade in the film, and he served as the bridge between the real world and the living universe inside the arcade games. He ran the Litwick's Family Fun Center and desperately wanted to keep the classic arcade alive in the modern era. He always fixed any game whenever there was a problem, and he even installed Wi-Fi to play online games in order to keep the arcade much more fun and modernized. His voice was from the famous Ed O'Neill, who is an American actor and comedian. He played as Al Bundy in Married with Children from 1987 to 1997, but we mostly remember him as Jay Pritchett in Modern Family from 2009 to 2020.
Right. Oh, I ordered a new part, but the company that made Sugar Rush went out of...
And finally, let us look at Sonic the Hedgehog, who made several iconic cameos in the franchise. He first appeared in the Game Central station and also during the movie's closing credits. And he was mostly seen as a background character who talked to people like Ralph concerning the happenings of the game. The few sentences he spoke were from Roger Craig Smith, who is an American voice actor that is a legend in video games and animations. He voiced Ezio Auditore in the Assassin's Creed series from 2009 to 2023, and he also voiced Kyle Crane in Dying Light of 2015.
It's actually pronounced Wi-Fi, Ralph. Wi-Fi is the internet, which is an online community where humans